Good evening, everybody, and welcome for another episode of Rise Up Market Watch tonight, October 20th. Market Watch. And sadly, I have some bad news. After the sheep mass, it is just myself tonight, no Doug, which is very sad. Wait, do I have sad sounds? Nope. 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 Sorry, I don't know what it is. Can you wish my cousin Herbert a happy birthday? He's a big fan. Ponky, of course I can. I'll also give 2 thumbs up to you, cousin Herbert. Happy birthday, dude. Are alts going up? One of the first questions came in from Gecko over here on the Tiki-Talkie Live. I don't know, man. They're bouncing a little bit. What we'll do tonight, since it is just myself and there is no Doug, is we will first start off by just taking a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at altcoin dominance. I haven't had much time to do a look at many charts today, so we'll dive into just about everything. Go through the process that I go through. Ooh, a galaxy. Go through the process that I go through to just kind of figure out what's going on in the market. And then we'll start taking some requests, do some charting there. And we'll also take a little bit of time to close this door real quick. My girlfriend moves pots and pans to do like some maybe altcoin like deep dive reviews. Maybe do a little bit of research on some altcoins that you guys suggest. We'll take a look. Virtuals was now listed on Robinhood. I saw that. Congratulations to Virtuals Protocol, the AI darling out of the base ecosystem. And I gotta say, I've always been a fan of Virtuals Protocol. Moist Mike, hey Watson, not sure if this tickles your fancy, but there's a new Toxic Avenger movie out on Prime. Yeah, sure. I'll give it a look at some point. But let's first take a quick look at where we're at on Bitcoin's chart. So let me share this here over on the Tiki-Talkie as well. So this is Bitcoin on the daily time frame. And you saw that we've been in this channel, or were in this channel, I should say, before we broke out of this bearishly, for quite some time, all the way back as far as May of this year. And we broke below it during that Friday liquidation event. You know, well, God, it feels like forever ago, but it also feels like yesterday. And now Bitcoin's at like a really interesting spot because we just, and I mean just 7 minutes ago, ended this daily candle back above this yellow line of support here. And we're currently looking to potentially break through it. If we can end like today's daily candle, like, you know, continuing to bounce upwards here, we could use this as a launch point to start working our way higher. What we have here is we have a scenario where if we really zoom out, you know, we have a higher low, we have a bullish wick, we have a bullish wick, we have Bitcoin thought to get back above key exponential moving averages of the 200 EMA and also the 200 simple moving average, so not an exponential. So maybe that's a bottom. And we pull up our indicators here and we just go, oh, hey, the daily chart stochastic RSI was oversold at the same time as us finding support on key exponentials. This really could be a bottom here. And now maybe we can use these as launch pads, get above some key exponential moving averages, work our way upwards and start, you know, having a genuine recovery here. But if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that we're still not bullish. We're not bullish because we're still being held below the 21-week exponential moving average, which is sitting at $110.8 thousand, basically $110.9 thousand. So the key thing for all of us is on Sunday evening, making sure that we are above the 21-week EMA. If we're above it and we close, hey, guess what? We're in oversold territory. This could be a bottom. Bitcoin could start working its way up. However, if this weekly candle closes below the 21-week EMA, we have to imagine that this is stiff resistance and we are going to be falling down to the next key exponential moving average, the 55-week EMA, sitting at what is essentially $100,000 right now at this very moment, okay? So that's what we're looking at for Bitcoin. Wait, forget crypto. Tell me the secret how your pops looks so good and young. Well, let's see. He was born in 1945, so they didn't believe in sunscreen. He drank and smoked most of his life. And he's missing a kneecap, has since high school. I don't know. He just stopped. He just didn't stop moving. That's why he looks so good. And hopefully I keep that going. So, I mean, so that's Bitcoin. Now let's just take a quick look at the stock market. Again, just getting a feel for the market overall. And oh God, stocks were green. Oh wait, whoops. Yeah, stocks were green. Let me pull up the stock market real quick. Oh, wait a second. Do we have a... Oh, there's a bearish gap. Bearish gap right here. Let me just mark this in the chart and I'll show everybody on TikTok as well. So this is what we have on the stock market. The S&P 500, it's just been going up. It had another green day today, but we have a bearish gap here on the S&P 500 on the daily time frame. We will come down and most likely fill this. If we take a look at our daily chart here, we never got into oversold territory. And momentum is continuing to get weaker and weaker despite it being bullish. So we see weakening momentum on the S&P 500. How about the weekly time frame? The weekly time frame, we see it wants to sell, momentum strong, we're not overbought. So the stock market could keep going higher. Despite the stochastic RSI going down, this is not a good top indicator. Momentum remains strong. We don't have a top indicator here. So the stock market could still go higher, even if there is a correction on the daily time frame. Now let's take a quick look at the Russell 2000 to give us a sense as to what the risk on market is like. And oh my God, it's so beautiful. Why can't altcoins just be stocks? Why? So here's the Russell 2000, and we'll pull up gold in a second too. I see comments for gold. Here's the Russell 2000. V-shaped recovery. We had a rejection last weekend, but now we are turning the previous resistance here. I'll stop using my finger. The previous resistance of these weekly candles here, we are now turning it into support. The Russell 2000 absolutely wants to rip higher, absolutely unequivocally, which means that risk on assets should be going up. Now, we do not have a top indicator on our MACD, and the Moxie indicator is still strong. So what we're seeing from the stock market is the S&P 500, yeah, it might take a little bit of a dip, go down, fill that bearish gap. But on the weekly time frame, it still has room to go higher before it's really overbought territory. The Russell 2000 is telling us risk on. It's turning previous resistance into support. It's looking really nice. And now let me just take a look at it on the daily time frame real quick. On the daily time frame, yeah, it's starting to lose some momentum, but it's not overbought on any indicator. So risk on environment still looks really good, but it has looked good for a while, and that hasn't really helped altcoins much at all. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance. Oh, man, this is just a funky chart. Oh, this is the 8-hour. Okay, let me get off the 8-hour. Let me go switch over to the daily. So here we are on the Bitcoin dominance chart. This is the daily time frame. Obviously, we've been in this wedge. This was the major liquidation moment here on Friday. Came back in, and we're just riding the top of this wedge without allowing altcoins or really Bitcoin dominance to rise upwards. Now, I don't really like using the indicators on the Bitcoin dominance chart. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. On the weekly time frame, we're starting to try to turn the 12-week EMA into support. If this holds as support, you might have a move as high upwards as 60.2%, which is probably going to be caused by Bitcoin selling. But basically on the Bitcoin dominance time frame, we are seeing continued strength for Bitcoin dominance, but it's not really popping upwards. I haven't really seen this, like a wedge, kind of react like this. This is kind of odd. But as of right now, Bitcoin dominance, it looks like it wants to go higher. If we could break this, it would be a pretty easy fall here for Bitcoin dominance. But as of right now, we still see more strength for Bitcoin than we see for altcoins. And so now let's take a quick look at the Total3. Total3, let me pull up more of a macro. Interesting. It's just like a really crappy Russell 2000. It's a really crappy Russell 2000. So this is what we're seeing on the Total3 market cap, which is a measurement of all cryptocurrencies minus Bitcoin and minus Ethereum. So we have this attempt at a V-shaped recovery, but You know, best case we're hoping for now is some kind of janky cup and handle. So we are currently holding the 21-week exponential moving average. Our momentum on our Moxie is still strong. We never got a top signal anywhere. And now we're oversold on the weekly chart stochastic RSI. This is telling me that maybe we have another week or chop or two, but because we never got a top signal here and this is finally oversold, I bet we spend 1 to 3 weeks in this general area before Total3 starts working higher. That would be what I would personally expect for the altcoin market cap if Bitcoin doesn't fall. If Bitcoin falls, we could see this fall by about $100 million, right? We could see it have a pretty nasty fall down if Bitcoin were to fall. Oh my God. On the big screen, I was not sharing. Man, I'm sorry, folks in YouTube. I just realized I was not sharing the correct screen this entire time. In fact, yep. Magic, appreciate you letting me know. See, this is when I'm left to run the show on my own. I mess up a little bit. My apologies, everyone. So none of you saw all the other chart that saw the Bitcoin dominance chart, but the folks on TikTok at least did. So anyway, but you know, if Bitcoin doesn't hold to that 21-week exponential moving average by the end of Sunday and we tip over, I mean, you'll totally see us fall down on the Total3 market cap, and you'll see altcoins bleed pretty profusely. That's what I'm saying. So the most important thing to keep your eyes on, even if you don't have a single Satoshi, and then we'll take some requests, is Bitcoin at $110,845. Magic, thanks, man. If Bitcoin can hold that and get above that by the end of Sunday, things could be fine. If not, Bitcoin to 100,000, altcoins falling something like let's see, how much would altcoins fall? Altcoins falling about 11% again across the board would be what I would expect. So that's that. Now, move your XRP. Don't hold in a cold wallet. I mean, depends what you want. If you're looking to sell your XRP quickly, yeah, don't hold it in a hardware wallet. If you're looking to hold your XRP for a long time, put it in a hardware wallet. Same goes for any crypto. Question from KBL034. Is good news from tariffs on the 1st November enough to turn markets around? Maybe, right? Like right now, the tipping point from a news standpoint was the trade war escalations with China. Although I think the market was just trying to find any way to tip things downwards for the purpose of just manipulating the market and liquidating a whole bunch of positions. So will good news from the China trade war lift the market and turn it around? It certainly is going to help, right? It's probably going to be one of those news events that will start to lift everything around. Have a thumbs up to the market to, hey, this is risk on. We certainly see the market wants to be risk on when you look at the Russell 2000. And I said that this morning, but what's probably going to happen is you're going to have a combination of a whole bunch of stuff happen. You're going to have, hey, we have this deal with China. Hey, the government's back on. Hey, the SEC just activated like 8 different altcoin ETF products. And then I bet you see the altcoin market snap and catch up to the Russell 2000 pretty aggressively. And a question also, have I been a buyer of this dip or just a holder? I've largely been a holder, but I have been buying every single day of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And I was buying a little bit every day of Syrup, Maple Finance, Morpho, and also PENGU as like the riskier side of my portfolio. Deb, finally, I catch you on a live. What up, Deb? How you doing? And yeah, so I have been buying, but I've been buying light. I've been buying a ton. I still have some stable coins on the side that are sitting in Morpho earning interest and that sit on Coinbase and earn the 4%. And if we do get a fall of Bitcoin to $98,000, $100,000, those stable coins will be deployed, and I'll probably buy a little bit more Ethereum and a little bit more Solana and a little bit more Bitcoin. And, you know, if I start to see a confirmed bottom somewhere, I'll turn on my dollar cost average again for probably a little bit of Morpho and a little bit of Syrup and a little bit of PENGU. Of those three, I'm like equally interested in all of them. Hey, my mustache has a mustache. What about Ethereum? So I'll start doing some updates right now. We'll take a look at Ethereum's chart first, and then we'll take a look at some other altcoins. So let me just pull up the chart here real quick, and I'll show everybody on TikTok. And let me share my screen here before I forget again. Let's see, Ethereum on the weekly chart. And let me just clean this up so it's a little not super ugly to look at. Okay, Ethereum is still kind of doing what it's supposed to be doing. And Magic, yes, I did already look at Bitcoin. So here's Ethereum on the weekly time frame. It is still holding this magenta line as support, which is our, critically important line of support going all the way back to November 2021, right? Because this is the weekly chart. So long as Ethereum holds this, even if we wick below it, Ethereum is still mega ultra bullish on longer term timeframes. Also, we are oversold on the daily chart, the weekly chart stochastic RSI. We could still totally be here for another 2 or 3 weeks, right? Because this isn't entirely oversold. But so long as Ethereum holds this level, which is currently $3,905, then Ethereum from a macro standpoint is still bullish. If I pull up the daily chart, we still have a slew of short signals here. And Moxie indicator, it's still bearish. And we never really got an oversold reading on the daily chart. So we are starting to get some higher lows here. Oh, hey, wait a second. We have something here. Let's see. What do we got? Is this, hang on a second. Let's go to a shorter term time frame. See, part of the fun of doing this live is you find some things. So we have this triangle that Ethereum was in, and we're trying to break out of it bullishly. And this is the Coinbase chart. So there's a gap here because that's when AWS went down, which is fucking hilarious. And we're trying to get a bullish breakout of Ethereum right here. If Ethereum can hold the current price of $3,970, let's see. What's our price target here? That'd be ETH up to $4,700. Oh, damn. Hey, look at that. If Ethereum can hold this line, and this isn't a false bullish breakout, you could actually get a sizable move upwards of 18% potentially, Will, dear God. Otherwise, let's see, hang on a second. Let's take a look at the monthly chart here. Monthly chart, we don't have any overbought readings. That's good. The stochastic RSI doesn't matter. Weekly chart, oversold. Huh. Yeah, Ethereum's actually in an okay spot. And let's see, today's Monday. I was about to say, what did the ETFs do for Ethereum? So Ethereum's kind of doing okay. So again, if Ethereum can hold, let me get this, $3,967, it could actually be looking for a bullish breakout. Fascinating. And that would have a massive impact on, not Total3, but on the Bitcoin dominance chart too. And then from a macroeconomic standpoint, we will get information on CPI inflation this Friday that could have an impact. Yeah, and I did see that, Chris Moore. The White House advisor did say that he expects the government shutdown to be finished this week. We'll see how that holds up. And so maybe you get good CPI data, the government turns back on, the SEC turns on all these altcoin projects or these altcoin ETFs. Altcoins can finally catch up to the Russell 2000. A deal with China happens, and then you have like a mega bullish Q4 that might be your like midterm blow off top kind of a thing. That'd be interesting to see. Let's see. Inca O says Ethereum's weekly MACD is crossing down, which every time it happened, it dumped 30 to 50%. Let's see. I don't use the MACD much. So let us actually put it on. And did you say the weekly? You did say the weekly. Do I have too many? Oh no, I put the wrong thing on my chart. Indicators. MACD. Oh, they updated this. Okay, let's switch to the weekly. Yes, the MACD did flip bearish. I will show you. The MACD on the weekly time frame has flipped bearish. However, like we said, we are oversold. So the last time we flipped bearish, we were not oversold. Over here, we flipped bearish. We were, though, and that was pretty much the end. So the statement of the MACD flipping bearish and then having a 30% fall right afterwards, not exactly true, but it is definitely a bearish indicator for sure. No two ways about it, but let's see. MACD flipped bearish here. We weren't exactly oversold, but we had a big dip. MACD flipped bearish here. We had a recovery, but then it did dip. So, I mean, we'll see. Let's see. Let's see if we can find an example that breaks that pattern. Oh man, I have too many indicators on. Let's see. We flipped bearish here. Boom, we fell. Flipped bearish here, fell. No, you're pretty much absolutely correct. When the MACD has flipped bearish on the weekly time frame, that is typically precipitating a much larger fall for Ethereum. And we do have that indicator flashing. So appreciate you pointing that out. But we also are in a market that is far more manipulated. So we'll see. All it takes is a couple tweets at this point. Am I a fan of Link? I am a fan of Link. I like what Chainlink does a lot. They are critically important to the infrastructure of the cryptocurrency space. I think if you're building a portfolio and you're like, hey, I'm just a long-term investor, you buy Bitcoin then. That's the majority of your portfolio. And then the second coin you buy is Ethereum, and the third coin you buy is Solana. And that makes up the majority of your portfolio. And then you're risky. And again, I'm just talking about a long-term portfolio. The risky part of your portfolio is probably comprised of Chainlink and maybe Ondo, maybe, probably Chainlink. Probably Chainlink. It's probably what your portfolio is. What do I think about DOT? Polkadot is a really good science experiment. Polkadot's a really good science experiment. That to me is what Polkadot is. They have really good engineers. They have really good tech based on what I've heard from other engineers and developers. I'm not one myself, so I don't really know. It's just that there's no excitement around Polkadot. No one's really using it. My user experience with Polkadot has been really bad, but again, I haven't gone and used Polkadot in a year and a half, so I don't know what it is currently. And I see them spend a lot of money at events, and I see them just fumbling the bag when it comes to a marketing standpoint. That's it. Do you guys, I see a request here. Oh, am I still stacking Ethereum and Sol? Yes, I am. Kareem, could you look at Say? I haven't looked at Say's chart in a long time. So I think that would be a great opportunity. Holy shit, that liquidation day. Okay, no, this is an 8-hour candle, but still, that liquidation day for Say brought it down 70%. What the fuck? I didn't think there was much worse than what PENGU experienced. Okay, I haven't played with this chart in a really long time, so give me a second while I find just some general areas of resistance. Wow, it double bottomed. Wow. If you had the opportunity to buy, say, on that flash crash at basically 10 cents, you are sitting pretty right now. You've 2x'd that. That was an amazing opportunity. And let's see. Let me use my Fibonacci tool. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at with Say. Oh, am I still feeling good about Aptos? Not to change topics. I still really like Aptos a lot. I do feel like they are being lost a little bit. They aren't remaining at the top of mind or like top of funnel for people in the space. I do like Aptos though. So here is Say. This is the weekly chart. Here was the flash crash we had, and that flash crash brought us right to the bottom that we had in October of 2023. And we fell and got slammed down by resistance of this level from our Fibonacci retracement tool. We lost the 55, the 12, and the 21-week exponential moving average. But the thing is Say is very, very, very oversold. So if you really like Say, this is probably not a bad time to have been scooping up Say. If you were able to buy some here, that was probably a phenomenal opportunity. And if we come up to the monthly chart, I mean, the monthly time frame stochastic RSI is also in oversold territory. I would say if you like Say, this is a good time to be buying. Now, let me take a look at, oh God, I wasn't sharing it on the big screen. Let me, wait, hang on a second. See, this is when I'm left to my, when I'm left on my own and I have two screens to go back and forth, my little peanut brain can't handle it. So what I was looking at for folks, again, who's watching this on YouTube or Twitter, is we had this like double bottom. This is Say on the monthly time frame. We have this double bottom. It's oversold and has been oversold for a while, but it's very oversold on the weekly chart. This is a good time to be dollar cost averaging into Say if you like it. But what I was going to show next was, let me pull up DeFi Llama. Also, is there any hope still for altcoin season in Q4? Yes, of course there is hope, but we need to see Bitcoin get above some key resistance levels first before we start potentially getting exciting. So if we look at so Say's DeFi ecosystem, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking to try to understand how much adoption Say is getting in its DeFi ecosystem. And $470 million is fine. Oh, let me share my screen here. Here we are. $500 million, that's pretty good. Anything that's below $300 million, I would say just don't pay attention to, unless, of course, DeFi just isn't like a focus. And there are certain chains like that. Near Protocol's one. Let's see, there's another one too that I can't think of, but irregardless. So if we look at the amount of Say being put on chain, we are seeing a resurgence here, which is nice. So, you know, this is looking like fairly healthy growth, particularly during a time where, you know, we have a little bit of a not bear market, but, you know, like a corrective period. So fundamental adoption of Say looks fine. Let's see, what's their revenue like? I don't know how to navigate DeFi Llama now that they have changed their UI. I see the 24 hours, but I want to see it annualized, although it hasn't been around for ever. Let's see, app fees, 24 hours, $72,000. App revenue, $20,000. Inflows past 24 hours, $250,000. Say looks fine. It looks fine. It's holding up enough strength to, oh, I know exactly why this TVL started going up at the end of September and October. It's because Say incorporated Morpho. Morpho, which is the second most leading lending protocol in all of cryptocurrency, is now on Say. That's why the TVL is most likely increasing. Let's see. Can we see Morpho here? So this just happened a few days ago. But if you take a look at the ecosystem of Say, and you know, you take a look here and you go, oh, okay, like its top DApp over the past month has actually decreased in size by 18%. The second one by 15%, minus 20%, minus 18%. The overall ecosystem of Say actually looks pretty bad, but Morpho was just recently added, and so it's kind of broken. It's not really worth looking at this, but what is this, like a 1 trillion % increase in TVL? Morpho will most likely start to become the #1 or #3 app used within Say. What's Sui looking like? You know, let's actually take a look, and let's take a look at the DeFi ecosystem of Sui, and it is looking pretty damn good. So it's actually looking really good. So here's SWE. SWE is at 2 billion. 2 billion. We're more than 4 times larger than SEI. And when you look at the total amount of SEI being put, or excuse me, SWE being put on chain, we had this big decrease and then a slow grind upwards, right? This was a bit of a snafu within the SWE ecosystem. There was it wasn't a hack, but there was a gap in the code on one of its largest decentralized exchanges. But then it healed. And I think that's a big sign of strength for SWE. And now we have made a new all-time high for the amount of SWE being used on SWE. So, I mean, to come back from a really big long dip, to then come back and have the TVL build itself back up again after having a pretty big dip, that to me shows a lot of fundamental strength for SWE. And now let's take a look at SWE's price chart. Oh my God, the flash crash. God, the flash crash for these coins was just so brutal. It also fell 74%. Dear God. But let's see. I'll show you guys in a second, but the SWE's chart is oversold on the weekly chart stochastic RSI, but we are below all of our key exponential moving averages here, which is a bearish setup still. So here's SWE, right? SWE on the weekly time frame. And like I said, we are oversold on the weekly chart stochastic RSI, but we are below the 55, 12, and the 21-week exponential moving averages, which is a bearish setup. Luckily, this monthly candle is having one hell of a bullish wick, and it's almost oversold. So I would say, based off of this, probably SWE is not going to really turn around until this is in oversold territory, which would mean SWE might, bounce around here for, a few weeks or so. But if this candle ends with this crazy, stupid wick, and let's take a look at the daily time frame. Yeah, the daily time frame is also just in a very bearish setup still. It's below the 12, the 21, the 55, the 200 exponential, the 200 simple moving average. We're oversold, but not totally oversold. We're close to getting a short signal here. So SWE could still totally just chop and fall a bit more, but I do really like SWE. And let's see. Bam. Let's see. That worked. That doesn't work. Hang on a second. I don't think this is right. No, this is right. Yeah. So if SWE at and below $2.26, I really, really like. But I mean, this is pretty sweet. We have a bottom here. We have a bottom here. This could be a double bottom while we're oversold. And, we could just kind of chop a little bit before we kind of work our way upwards here. If Bitcoin can show some strength, if the government can turn on, which it will one day, if there's a trade deal with China, like SWE is actually looking kind of solid here. Which is nice to see. Because I think SWE doing well would really get the altcoin space heated up, and I think would have a lot of people start talking about it. Where do I see SWE going? I don't know. The thing about SWE is once it starts ripping, everyone starts talking about it, and it can really, really get going. So if you want to see SWE hit the blast off zone, you really want to see it. Your live is not eligible for recommendation and restricted in search results for the next 10 minutes because your live does not comply with the For You feed eligibility. Do they think I'm saying something other than SWE? My live does not contain the content mentioned in the notice. Submit. Wow. Huh. Interesting. Well, anyway, guys. But if SWE gets a lot of adoption, it gets like, any sort of a run, everyone starts talking about it. Everyone dives into it. It gets hot super fast. And if it gets above $4.19, this resistance here for folks who are on YouTube and Twitter, I think SWE could really, really rip. Yeah, not financial advice, TikTok. Damn, dog. It's because you're showing your chart on your live, I think. I show my chart on my live all the time. So it's not that. I think maybe instead of SWE, maybe it thought I was saying sex. I don't know. I have no idea. TikTok's a little finicky. Say. Haha, say. Thoughts on Ethereum, Robinhood? We gave our thoughts on Ethereum before. Pretty much if Ethereum can stay above basically $3,900, then it is still holding a macro bullish setup. Can I check hype? Of course I can check hype. Let us take a look-see. Hyperliquid. Let's see. I haven't touched this chart in 2 weeks. Live visibility restricted for 10 minutes. Nope. I am not. TikTok should allow content like mine. Submit. Man, check Solana. Why are you skipping me, bro? I'll go to Solana next, I promise. Assuming, of course, I don't get banned from TikTok again, which would be not great. Not great at all. So let me show you. This is Hyperliquid on the weekly chart. So Hyperliquid on the weekly chart. Here was the massive crash downwards. Currently, we are holding support on this key level of our Fibonacci retracement tool. And it's also trying to create, a double bottom of sorts as well, which is pretty phenomenal. But Hyperliquid hasn't existed for long enough for our weekly stochastic RSIs and RSIs and Moxies to populate. So let's zoom out a little bit. We never quite got to oversold on the RSI. We got oversold on the stochastic RSI here. Let me see. We had a low, we had a low, we had a lower low that's a little bit less. Yeah, so that, hang on a second. Do we have, no way. No freaking way. This is a crazy descending triangle for Hyperliquid. Dude, I should be buying some freaking Hyperliquid now. What the hell am I doing? So yeah, so let me get rid of this so this becomes just a little bit more clear. This is a descending wedge for Hyperliquid. If Hyperliquid can get above the 12-day exponential moving average, which is currently sitting at about $39, I mean, this is, that's probably going to trigger a 33% move to the upside for Hyperliquid. This is actually a pretty bullish setup if it can get above this and hold this. So, Magic, nice suggestion for us to take a look at Hyperliquid, because if it can get above, let's say, yeah, I really want to get above the 12-day exponential. If it can basically turn $40 into support, $39 into support, you could have a bullish breakout for Hyperliquid for sure. Let's take a look at the shorter term time frame. Oh, damn. All right. Hyperliquid is so freaking close to giving us a long signal as it's about to break above this and then potentially, work its way up. Interesting. This is the most bullish setup we've had looking at any coin tonight so far. Hyperliquid's in an interesting position. Pithania, you asked me to look at gold. I'll look at gold and Solana right now. I have the Solana chart up. Actually, let's take a look at gold because I feel like gold's going to be somewhat simple. So let's take a look at gold and we'll do Solana. Oh, interesting. Gold recovered. God, this is just ridiculous. Hang on a second. Let me just look at these time frames real quick. Let me look at if I'm at the month. Oh my God, this is the dude. Gold's chart is stupid. Gold's chart is so dumb. Is there a possibility to see a 98K Bitcoin? Absolutely, there is. We talked about it at the beginning. Okay. I don't, this is dumb. This is a stupid chart. So here's gold, right? And we are incredibly overbought on the monthly charts RSI. Let me go to the 3-month chart. We are overbought on the monthly charts RSI and way overextended. On the weekly chart, we are very, very overbought and very, very overextended once again. On the daily time frame, we are very, 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 very overbought. Good God. But the thing is gold's still trying to make a new all-time high. Look at it. It's trying to get above it. And we don't really have a strong bearish rejection yet here. Let's go to a shorter term time frame. Shorter term time frame, we're oversold. God, we were overbought here too. We're oversold. Gold might want to get higher. If gold can turn this into support, gold will keep going up. Otherwise, like, I would be selling gold here. I would be selling gold here so aggressively. I know Yaboyski. I know Yaboyski sold 40% of his gold. I would be selling 60 to 70% of my gold and just being like, hey, if gold wants to keep being stupid bullish, let it, and I'll still have a little bit of a bag to go. Now, can Bitcoin continue to go higher? Sure, of course it can. Think of the environment that we're in. The money printer is turning on. The dollar is going to get weaker and weaker because of the money printing. Also, that's exactly what the US government wants, to try to incentivize manufacturing in the United States, which is still getting worse and worse. And we're spending more and more money, so there's less faith in the US dollar. So yeah, of course, people are running to safe haven assets. This is gold. And I see some people talk, and put on your tinfoil hat, but like the government is purposely driving up the price of gold so that the government can then sell gold and turn it into Bitcoin, and then just take those profits and then compound them immediately. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. And honestly, we should totally probably do that. Is it legal? I mean, there's, anyone can sell anything at any point in time, I suppose. But it'll be a really good way to get rid of our debt. So yeah, drive gold all the way up. Government sells the gold that we have, and then buy Bitcoin, and then send Bitcoin to the stratosphere, and then use that to actually pay off our debt. That would actually be really smart. And it's so simple, I feel like we should just do that. It's gonna hurt a lot of people, but at the same time, hey, we'll fix our debt. Woohoo! Now let me take a look at Solana, because I know that that was requested a long time ago. Let's see. This is Solana on the daily time frame. We're starting to get some short signals. Let me go to the weekly chart first, and then I'll share my screen for you guys. And hang on a second. Let's do this. Okay, so here is Solana on the weekly time frame, and we've been in this upwards channel for a really long time, and we have not had a bearish break of it yet. So we are currently holding the 55-week EMA, this blue line, and we are just starting to enter oversold territory. So this could be a bottom, but I would typically like to see this be more oversold before I get really kind of excited. However, we are close to getting a long signal too. We have been for a long time on the weekly chart. So if Solana can hold this blue line here at exactly $183, you could start to see Solana rebound. And the big danger signal here for Solana would be if it were to fall like a rock, if it were to break out of this channel right here. And that would be Solana at $173 if it were to drop like a rock. If that were to happen, a fall to about $122 would be expected, with a potential catch of, right about here, $154. So $154 to $120 would be expected if we were to fall below all of this support. But as of right now, it's holding. If we go to the daily time frame though, we are getting short signals here, unfortunately. The MOX indicator has flipped bearish. So this is telling us that despite getting higher lows on the 200-day exponential moving average, we still have to lean a little bit more so towards the more bearish scenario happening here. But we're holding the 200 simple moving average. We have higher lows on a key exponential moving average. There is a path forward here, in my personal opinion, for Solana to go higher. It's just like I would really like to see the weekly chart stochastic RSI be more oversold than it is. And I would also really like to see Bitcoin above the 21-week exponential moving average, giving me a little bit of hope that, hey, the whole crypto market's going to bounce back up. And again, that level is basically $111,000. If Bitcoin is above $111,000, I think Solana's bottom was hit, and it can keep going higher, along with pretty much all the other altcoins. If Bitcoin can hold $111,000 by the end of this week, I think Hyperliquid has that bullish break out of its descending wedge. Oh my God, live visibility restricted for 10 minutes again. All right, how many TikTok should allow content like mine? Submit. Someone's mass reporting me. I feel like it. Or it's just the robots within TikTok that pick up words were all reset during the AWS fall or whatever you want to call it. The AWS downtime. Okay. Can I look at Polyswarm? What's Polyswarm? NTC Polyswarm. Oh, this is a terrible cryptocurrency. I know that immediately. Let me show you why. Oh, wait, someone asked me to look at this before. And then we'll take a look at PENGU and we'll take a look at Chainlink too. So this is Polyswarm on the monthly chart. Garbage, try to come back garbage, try to come back garbage. This is just pump and dump. This is just a pump and dump coin. Damn, sorry, it's a pump and dump coin. There's nothing going on here. It's not even in oversold territory yet. If you do buy it and it goes upwards, sell it. It has some higher lows, sure, but it's a pump and dump coin. That's exactly what it is. There's some insiders that are just fucking around with it. That's what that kind of coin looks like. Let's see. Oh, my internet just poo-pooed. Someone asked me to take a look at Chainlink also. So let's take a look at Chainlink. Chainlink. Weekly time frame. Huh. Lovely. It's nice to see. Chainlink's got some life to it. We already looked at Ethereum, so if you want to go see what I had, what my thoughts were on it, go back to it. But basically, if Ethereum holds $3,900, it's in a good spot. This is Chainlink on the weekly time frame. We have just entered oversold territory. We're currently trying to hold the 55-week exponential moving average, and I mean, this is pretty sweet. This is a pretty dope retest at the top of this consolidation zone. If we can turn this into support, and this is basically $19, $20, I mean, this is that's a clear blast off zone to me, but we don't have confirmation of that yet. To use the top of this consolidation zone as support to get above this key inflection zone, look, inflection zone here, was trying to act as support here, was trying to act as support here at $19.80. If we can hold that again, you probably have a blast off move for Chainlink that could happen over the next few weeks. Let's take a look at the daily time frame. We had our short signals flashing here. We have a lower low, but it looks like it's losing some bearish momentum. Let's see. Do we have anything? Yeah, let's see. Clear line of resistance here. Okay. Yeah, so we have a downwards channel, but is this a bear flag? Interesting. So here's the very interesting thing for Chainlink too on the daily time frame. This orange line is the 200-day exponential moving average. We're nowhere near overbought. We still have bearish momentum. We're not overbought on the daily chart stochastic RSI. So if Chainlink can get above, look at that, $19 again. This is such a critical moment right now. If we can get above $19 here, like Chainlink really has an opportunity to do something fucking cool. Should be doing something like this, right? Something kind of like that. But let's see, what's the breakout target if that happens? This is a bear flag, which is dope. Let's just see. Damn, dog, that'd be $33 for Chainlink if that were to happen. However, like we're nowhere near that confirmation yet, but I'm just gonna leave this on the chart. $19 though is the key number for Chainlink. $19. If Chainlink can hold $19, you could see something pretty dope start to happen for Chainlink, which would be dope. We already took a look at Solana, Berman, so you can go back and watch the recording, but I'll give you the quick skinny on it. If Solana can get above like 191, I mean, really, it's about $200. It's the psychological number of $200. We need to get back above the 12-week exponential moving average. And then Solana is in a real good spot. PENGU, please. We'll take a look at PENGU. I am also an investor in PENGU, and I invest in their NFTs, and I buy their token, and I spend a bunch of money on their mobile applications. All right, PENGU. PENGU on the weekly chart. Let me bring it up. Okay, I'm going to show you this, and it's going to look a little gross. So here's PENGU's chart on the weekly time frame. Okay. PENGU has been in this channel right here that's been a crazy bear flag. PENGU is finally oversold on the weekly chart stochastic RSI, and it found support last week on this key level of our Fibonacci retracement tool, okay? So let's pull up to the daily time frame. We are below the 200 exponential moving average, and let me see here. That's a lower low, but barely a lower low. So this could be a sign of bearish momentum starting to wane. We're turning the 200 simple moving average into support, but this is the key level. We have a Fibonacci retracement support line right here that lines up perfectly with the 200-day exponential moving average and the 21-day exponential moving average. This is 2.5 cents. If PENGU can hold and turn 2.5 cents into support, you're gonna start to see the breakout of that crazy bull flag. I called it a bear flag before, but it's a bull flag. Wait, no, I'm mixing up my terms. I'm losing it. It's really hot in this room and I have not had enough water today. But this bull flag, it is a bull flag. I'm just stupid. Wow. Hang on a second. I'm just playing around with the chart real quick, everybody. Let me show you. Ugh, I'm starting to sweat. So this is the channel, right? This is the pole. That's the flag. It's a crazy bear flag, or sorry, bull flag. I keep wanting to say bear flag. And if we can get above and turn this into support, because look at all that resistance, that'd be an amazing trampoline zone. You could work your way up to the top of this flag and then have an absolute blast off, classic meme coin blow off top for PENGU. And that has been the pattern that we've been talking about for a really long time for PENGU. It's been really interesting how it's been holding up that pattern so well. Mar, you have been asking for Filecoin and Polkadot for quite some time. Also see another comment for Polkadot as well. We will absolutely address that. I need to go grab a fan or change shirts real quick because I am like sweating through this flannel. I will be right back. Oh my God. We just turned the heat back on and it's 1,000,000 degrees in this place. My girlfriend is happy. I am melting. Anyway, when do you plan to exit PENGU? I mean, when it has like a blow off top. Like this move upwards would be a 181% move from where it currently is. And I'd be fine with that. I probably won't sell my entire PENGU bag. I'll probably keep some because I think that it probably goes higher. But I'll probably sell like 80% of it. I'm very happy to like sell entire bags. I know as a general rule of thumb, it's like, hey, don't sell everything. I'm like, fuck it, man. I'm in profit. I'm gonna sell everything. I'm selling the whole bag. I don't give a fuck. But like, I am long-term bullish on PENGU. I don't really have a price target for PENGU. Like right now, though, I would be selling extremely large amounts of it, between 5.8 cents to 6.6 cents. But like it will flip Doge one day. I'm fully convinced of that. Now let's see. Changing topics though. We were gonna do Polkadot, and we were going to do what was the other one? Someone else had been asking me for something for quite a while. It was Mar. What was the other one you wanted me to look at? Mar. Filecoin. It was Filecoin and Polkadot. We'll take a look at Filecoin first. Filecoin, interesting. People are still talking about Filecoin. I mean, like, it's a great solution. I just don't think it's a good crypto. There are a lot of cryptocurrencies out there that are great solutions, just not good investments. Yeah, and I mean, like, Filecoin is awesome. It's a decentralized storage solution, but like, its crypto is just not. In fact, it's really hard for me to just even like make it look good on the chart to show you guys. I need an AI assistant. I certainly do. I need Doug. That's what I need. I need Doug back. So this is Filecoin on the monthly chart, right? Filecoin on the monthly chart. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say that you guys haven't already figured out just by simply looking at this. I mean, this coin has no life. It has no life. Of course, you can make money off of it. You can trade it. It makes moves, but barely. You know, it's not even very volatile. It's not even a great coin to trade. We have short signals here. Momentum's bearish. It's just that it's just not a very good. It's just not a good investment. There's no life on the chart. I forget about the tokenomics. I don't know what Filecoin has done recently in terms of what their project's doing. I'm sure it's still working great. I'm sure a ton of people still use it. It's just like there's no life on this chart. I see no reason why anyone would be investing in this in the long term if they were to look at this chart. If you were to just hear like, hey, so many people use Filecoin, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna invest in Filecoin. That's a decent thought. Like I totally understand that. But when you look at this chart, there is no life on this thing. So now let's go take a look at Polkadot. I imagine it's going to be something pretty similar. Oh, wow. I think last time I charted this was in May. Oh God. Okay, hang on a second. Hey, on the bright side, it's oversold. Okay, now first of all, I don't really like Polkadot as an investment. Again, I know that the people there are good. I just don't think they know how to run a business. I don't think they know how to market. And I think they know how to run science experiments, personally. And that's a problem in the crypto space. So again, Polkadot, I mean, it's better than Filecoin. It's better than Filecoin. It isn't oversold on the weekly charts, stochastic RSI, but you can see I had this consolidation triangle here that it tried to break above, and then the Friday flash crash smashed it down. And currently it's in a bearish setup. It's below the 12, the 21, the 55, and the 200 exponential. Momentum is bearish. We're getting more and more short signals here. However, the low is barely lower low. But the thing is like Polkadot just looks terrible. Like there's no life to this coin. I feel like there's no life to the project either. I know that they are still working and they're still doing great events in the space and all that kind of stuff. But here's the thing. If Polkadot were to get above the 200-day exponential moving average at $4.14, you would potentially have an opportunity for like a really big pop upwards for a quick trade. But otherwise, like this is a totally lifeless cryptocurrency. Mara, I see you asking about Atom as well in Cosmos. And Cosmos, I don't even have to pull up the chart to tell you that Atom's chart probably looks terrible. And the reason why is that Atom is, again, Cosmos is a phenomenal piece of technology. It is one of the most used SDK kits out there to build other cryptocurrencies. Say used it to build their blockchain, right? It's something that people use to quick start or jumpstart. Quick start's not a word. To jumpstart their building of an actual blockchain. And it's been used by a ton of people, but people who use Cosmos do not have to incorporate the Atom token to pay for fees. Ron Burgundy for one of the best costumes this year. Amazing. Yeah, no, Ron Burgundy would be such a good costume for me to be. Also, I got Omni-Man, but I don't think I'm jacked enough. But yeah, so I'll pull up Atom's chart, but I don't even have to look at it to know it's not doing well. Cosmos. Yeah. There it is. There it is. It's the Cosmos problem. It has so much technical adoption and yet no need for the Atom token. It just Mar. I'll pull up the effort. You don't have to. And it's somewhat of a similar problem with Avalanche as well. Avalanche has a Cosmos problem. But Avalanche's chart has way more life to it. And you do have some companies who are building treasuries around Avalanche. So I'm pulling up Avalanche on the weekly chart now. And so like immediately, this is a much better chart. So we still have like this massive boon upwards, absolutely dead. But then, hey, some life. There's some life here. You can trade this. You can trade this and do well. And we're starting to get into oversold territory. We might even get a long signal. If we go to the daily time frame, and yeah, so this is a line I drew all the way back in July. Avalanche at or above $26.79. This is where you could start to see Avalanche maybe do something, right? But the issue with Avalanche is, again, it's a Cosmos problem. And I talked about this in a video where a bunch of people are using Avalanche to build. By people, I mean like businesses, legitimate businesses are using Avalanche to build their own blockchain solutions. But the thing is once you use an Avalanche subnet to build your own blockchain, you don't need the AVAX token to pay for fees. Like if you are building on Arbitrum, you're still using Ethereum to pay for gas fees. And that's not the case with Avalanche. You're not using the Avalanche token to pay for fees. So as a result, that adoption of Avalanche isn't a natural increase of demand for the AVAX token. It doesn't reduce supply and it doesn't increase buying pressure for the token. But Avalanche's chart looks way better than Cosmos. It looks way better than Polkadot, and it looks way better than Filecoin. There's a lot more going for Avalanche though, but it does have a little bit of a problem. VeChain and Immutable X. I did a video on VeChain not too long ago. Funny enough, I don't remember what the chart looked like. I don't think it was great. It is not great. We have short signals too. So let me see. Let's go to the weekly chart real quick. Yeah, yeah, VeChain. It's more similar to Filecoin. Sorry. Here's VeChain. Not a whole lot going on for it, unfortunately. So if VeChain can get back above 1.9 cents right here, you can start to see VeChain work its way higher. And the thing is so VeChain, and I made a video on this, VeChain used to be the supply chain blockchain, and it got a bunch of adoption. And like at a time when no one was using blockchain solutions, like Walmart in China was using it. And now they've become, hey, we're going to be like a supply chain, but a sustainability blockchain. And they're great. They're the clear leader in the space for like a sustainability, green energy, renewable, kind of effort blockchain that rewards both companies and also like regular retail people who want to prove that they're doing things sustainably and get rewards. There's no one better than VeChain at that. However, no one cares. No one cares about it. No one cares about sustainability efforts right now, which is a shame. Because like VeChain's clearly the leader here. Maybe one day its chart will reflect it being the leader in the space in that category, but currently it does not. Sad. And also, I don't know how many people, like how much true adoption there really is for it yet. One day, if they keep doing what they're doing, one day VeChain could be hot, but that day is certainly not today. Immutable X. Saw that request a few times. a project that I love so much, and I would love to have them on the show and talk to them. Now, their token has also been smashed over the past like 2 years. So, and it's because they've had really bad tokenomics. So this is Ethereum on the weekly time frame. As you can see, it's not Ethereum, Immutable X. Immutable X on the weekly time frame, not great, right? Basically, you're gonna want to see Immutable X. See, look at this inflection point here. Try to hold it, failed, right? So, and also the 200-week exponential moving average and the 200 simple week moving average are right here. So, Immutable X at $1.46 is where you could really start to see it maybe pop off and do something special. However, it would have to fix the horrible tokenomics that it had. And guess what? It did. This year, it oh God, I used to have this knowledge right at the top of my brain because they did an update video on Immutable X. This was like 5 or 4 months ago now at this point, which is like 12 years in crypto. But they did a massive overhaul of the Immutable X platform. And one of those things was changing the tokenomics. So instead of 1 year, there was an inflation of the token supply of like 22% or like 27%. It was massive. Massive. And now it's at 10%, and the next year it's at like 4%, and the year after that it's at like less than 1%. So the tokenomics and the inflation of Immutable X will get much better. It's not perfect right now, way better than it was, and next year it's even better. So if Web3 gaming can become a hot narrative, I mean, Immutable X is still like right there to be one of the hotter performing coins. If I zoom in real quick on Immutable X, it's currently being held below the 200-day, the 200-day simple moving average. So in the short term, if Immutable X could get above 56, 57 cents by 56 cents, you could see a pop up in Immutable X. So that's what we're looking at. Please share your thoughts on Dogecoin. It's hard to share thoughts on meme coins that don't have like businesses attached to them. Like with PENGU, there's a business. With Doge, it's just a meme coin. So, I mean, I can take a look at the chart, which I'll do for you. But, wait, what? Wait, what? Hang on a second. I got to see if I can catch that again. Okay. We're on Doge's chart. I'm going to refresh the screen. There was no way. All right, that's on the YouTube. But, oh, wait, no, this is Immutable X. Okay, wait. Doge. There was a dog that, no, I just seem crazy to everyone on TikTok. There was an animated Doge that popped out here. Oh. There was an animated Doge that popped out on TradingView when I came up on the Doge chart. It's on YouTube. People saw it. Anyway, so let's see. Doge is actually in my buy zone that I had for it. It's finally oversold on the weekly chart. It's holding a key area of support. Oh, this chart's a little bit of a mess. These colors are really messing with me. Pull up the daily time frame here. Momentum is still bearish, but we have a lower low that's barely a lower low. William Watson live. Cool. I like to think so. So look, we have all these short signals here. We're below the 200 exponential, 200 moving average. This lower low is barely a lower low as compared to this point here. We were oversold. We're trying to work our way out of it. Hang on a second. Let's go to the 8-hour chart. Ooh, 8-hour chart is getting close to flashing a long signal here. Well, we made a lower low that's barely a lower low, which shows bearish momentum is slowing down. We are currently above the 12 and 21 exponential moving average. Hang on. Doge might have some legs. We're oversold on the weekly chart, stochastic RSI. Hey, we might have some legs. We're still in this channel. We held that as support. Hey, we're holding this line of support from boom. Hey, Doge might have some legs here, ladies and gentlemen. I would be very bullish on Doge if we could just, like get above the 55, the 12, and the 21-week exponential moving average. So, we're looking at 22 cents. If Doge can get above 22 cents, we're looking at probably a sizable move for Doge. But again, everything is really, really dependent on Bitcoin holding the 21-week exponential moving average at 111,000. If we end this week and we're not above 111,000 for Bitcoin, every single altcoin we're looking at goes down. It goes down. It's just what's going to happen. But at least there's a chance. Arrow and Pith long term. I don't think Pith's going to do particularly well long term, but Arrow maybe. I don't know. Maybe Pith will do fine. Let's see. Aerodrome, broke out of this standing wedge bearishly. Let's see. Aerodrome daily time frame. Wait a minute. This isn't the best chart to use. Aerodrome, USDT spot, but no, where is Aerodrome at? No, come on now. Give me the full price history of Aerodrome. No, okay, fine. Whatever. I don't need it anyway. Let's see what we have here. Let me do some charting real quick here, guys. So let's see. Resist, support. Are we in another descending wedge? Interesting. Is this like a weird ass bear flag or something? No, it's not a bull flag. I can't want to say bear flag. Bull flag. No. Okay, let me show you guys what I'm looking at. Also, did I already do PRCL as a RWA? I did not, Austin, and I also don't know what you're talking about, but I can take a look. So Aerodrome on the daily time frame is currently being held below the 200 simple moving average. And momentum is bearish. We're starting to work our way upwards, but if this holds as resistance, you should see this fall back down. But that price point is currently 83 cents. So if we don't get above basically 84, 85 cents, you should see Aerodrome sell off again and maybe have an opportunity to create a double bottom or a low that's barely lower low. But you see, we're in this downward channels. Now, downward channels do tend to break to the upside. So I would say that if Aerodrome can get above, what is this? 86.5, 87 cents. It's right at a key inflection zone. If it can turn this into support, you have an opportunity to work your way up and up. But it still has bearish momentum at this current point in time. There was another one I said I was going to do along with Aerodrome. You never hear me talk about stellar lumens. Are these lives recorded and on YouTube? Yes, they are on YouTube. Go to the Rise Up Morning Show on YouTube. Head over to rumshq.com. We'll get you to the YouTube, or again, just type Rise Up Morning Show on YouTube. You'll find it. Oh, right. I was going to take a look at Pith. That was the other one. Thank you, Magic. I can always count on you. I can always count on you to keep it straight. Pith network to bang. Pull up the weekly chart. I also only have 12% battery left in my phone. Yeah. Pith is just not looking great. This is what I'm looking at. Pith on the weekly chart, it's just, lower highs, lower lows. Although this was a higher relative high than this point here. But, we're starting to get oversold. This is just a coin that, it just doesn't have a lot going for it, It has some quick swings to the upside and then down. Quick swings to the upside and then down. It's just not a coin that has a lot of life. even though the project is great itself, we're also about to start getting some short signals in the daily time frame too. And PIF is also well below the 200 simple moving average and well below the 200-day exponential moving average. So, yeah, things for PIF don't look great. If it can hold basically 11 cents, it can start to work its way higher. But, you know, right now it doesn't have strength until it gets above 14 cents. Until it gets above 14 cents. In a good spot. But, guys, I have to go. My battery's dying. I'll take a couple final questions. Couple final coins. What does it mean when EMAs cross on the daily? Typically, it's a bearish indicator if you have something like it's a lagging indicator in whatever direction you're looking for. So, like, you had like these key exponential moving averages all cross bearishly. The 12, the 21, and the 55 are all below the 200 EMA. That's not what you want. A bullish setup would be if they were all above it. So look, like we tried here. The 12 tried to cross the 200, but it failed. That would be a golden cross. Like it's just a bullish setup. If you have the 12, the 21, the 55, and the 200 in that order, hey, momentum is overall bullish. If it's swapped, it's bearish. There you go. Lots of people asking for XLM. I like to imagine it was just you. And now that's the comment I saw. So fine, we'll take a look at XLM. I hope it was just you being like, hey, lots of people are asking for XLM. Stellar. Love the people at Stellar. Oh, hey, there's a lot of life on this chart. Interesting. Stellar. So here is XLM on the weekly time frame. Oh my God, I am not. The notice is unclear. I'm still not sure. My life does not contain the content mentioned. I am not being. Jesus. TikTok, relax. So here is Stellar. I mean, look at these massive swings up, massive swing up, massive swing up. Stellar likes to act like this. I think it's because the XRP crowd gets behind it, even though there's zero connection between XRP and XLM. It's probably definitely it. But here we go. We have the weekly chart, stochastic RSI is in oversold territory while we're holding the 55-week EMA. That's a good sign. At the same time, finding support right on top of that consolidation zone. We like to see that as well. Not a bad time to potentially be scooping up some XLM on the weekly time frame. The daily chart, however, the daily chart is still below the 200 simple moving average and is below the 200 exponential moving average. And this is a lot of resistance. There's a lot of resistance here at 33 cents. There's a lot of resistance here at 34 cents as well. And let's see, what are we looking at on the 8-hour chart? And we're trying to get a long signal on the 8-hour chart while holding these exponential moving averages, but I can't be bullish on Stellar until we at the very least turn the 200 simple moving average and the 12-day exponential moving average into support at 33 cents. But from a macro standpoint, let me take a look at the monthly chart. Monthly chart looks pretty solid. Weekly chart oversold. Yeah. Stellar looks fine. H-bar? Heaps of people asking about H-bar. No, I know your tricks. Hang on a second. I'm going to look at I want to take a look at Stellar's TVL because their TVL, I remember, is pretty good. Hang on a second. No. Oh, no, that's right. Stellar and DeFi Llama don't play well together. We can't look up to see what their fundamental adoption is like. I'm very, very pink on this YouTube screen. Interesting. XLM is solid. XLM is solid. They have a great team behind them. We're getting a lot of adoption among businesses. Syrup TVL continues to go upwards, and I do need to take a look though to see what interactions. But actually, hang on a second. Let me do a quick in Maple Finance? Because I'm pretty sure it's just a governance token, isn't it? Yeah, the Syrup token in Maple Finance is just a governance token. It's used for staking rewards. Syrup aligns stakeholders across the Maple ecosystem. Institutions pool delegates, stakers, liquidity providers so that they share in success. As Maple's docs put it, at the core of Maple is the Syrup token, which aligns stakeholders, drives governance, and blah, blah, blah. Revenue participation. There are mechanisms where protocol revenue flows to the treasury, which may then buy back or distribute Syrup. For example, the retrospective on Maple Syrup launch noted that fees generated from Maple's and Syrup's finance lending operations will be used to buy back Syrup tokens and feed stake rewards. Lovely. Access to platforms, features that require Syrup, migration and legacy token conversion, yada yada. But what has been their buyback, actually? What has been Maple Finance's actual buyback of Syrup tokens? I've been meaning to do a deep dive video on Maple Finance for so long. I have also invested a decent amount of money into it. Under proposal MIP 018, Maple Finance proposes allocating 25% of protocol fee revenue in Q3 2025 to buy back Syrup tokens and then distributing them to stakers. Interesting. Okay, so they're buying back tokens and giving them stakers, which is nice. Instead of doing like a buyback and burn, that's kind of silly. According to the community forum on Maple Finance for Q1 and Q2 2025, the buyback program used about $830,000 worth of USDC, purchased 3.5 million Syrup tokens at an average price of 24 cents each. Earlier in the governance protocol for Q1 2025, Maple proposed buying back Syrup tokens under 20% of protocol revenue. What we don't know. Okay, cool. That is solid. I should probably have known that. My phone is now going black. So, guys, I have to call it. But thank you for spending your Monday evening here with myself. I will be live again with Alex and Evan tomorrow morning. Doug will be with me next Market Watch Monday. And I'm going to keep the air conditioning on this time. My face is going red and I'm sweating even while I'm barely wearing gloves. Anyway, everyone, I will see you all in the morning. Have a good rest of your evening. Do good things. Be good people. Make a bunch of money.